In 1976, audiences around the world flocked to theaters to see The Omen. Marketed as the most terrifying movie ever made, it told the story of Damien, a boy born into privilege who, beneath his innocent exterior, was the Antichrist himself. It became a box office sensation and cemented itself as one of the greatest horror films ever produced. But the story that truly endures is not Damien's. It's the chilling series of accidents, tragedies, and coincidences that haunted the cast and crew of The Omen. Events so strange and unsettling that many began to whisper, the film wasn't just about evil, it carried evil with it. A shadow before. Filming before the cameras even rolled, tragedy struck. Gregory Peck, the film star, was devastated when his son Jonathan died by suicide just 2 months before production began. This loss weighed heavily on Peck throughout filming, and some point to it as the first dark sign that this project was different. When Peck finally boarded a plane to London to begin shooting, disaster nearly struck again. Mid-flight, his aircraft was hit by lightning. Passengers were shaken but survived. Just days later, the film's executive producer, Mace Neufeld, boarded a separate flight. His plane was also struck by lightning. Then came the screenwriter David Seltzer, whose flight narrowly avoided the same fate. 3 planes, 3 brushes with catastrophe, all tied to The Omen. Was it bad luck, or was something darker already at work? The plane that never should have taken off. During location filming in England, the crew had arranged a private jet for travel. At the last moment, scheduling changed, and the aircraft was given to another group of passengers. The decision seemed minor at the time. Hours later, that very plane crashed after takeoff, killing everyone on board. The people who should have been on it, the actors and crew of The Omen, escaped certain death by the thinnest margin. To skeptics, it was a tragic coincidence. To others, it was the curse sparing them, keeping them alive so they could finish the film and unleash Damien on the world. The Wrath of Animals. Some of the film's most terrifying scenes involved live animals, and these, too, seemed to carry a curse. For the baboon attack sequence, actress Lee Remick was placed inside a car as handlers released a troop of baboons around her. The animals went berserk, shrieking, clawing, and pounding the car with such ferocity that Remick's terror on screen was entirely genuine. But the story didn't end with the cameras. Days later, the zookeeper responsible for supplying those animals was mauled and killed by a lion. The curse didn't stop there. Stuntman Vic Armstrong, standing in for Gregory Peck, was attacked during rehearsals involving tigers. He barely survived, narrowly escaping what could have been a fatal mauling. To those who believed in the curse, it was clear the beasts of the earth had become instruments of something unnatural. Death imitates art. The most infamous event tied to The Omen occurred after production had wrapped. Special effects designer John Richardson, who had created the movie's most horrifying deaths, was driving in the Netherlands with his assistant. They were involved in a car accident. Richardson survived with injuries, but his assistant was killed instantly, decapitated, in a manner eerily similar to a scene Richardson himself had designed for the film. What made it even stranger was the location. Near the site of the crash stood a road sign, Omen, 66.6 kilometers. The name almost identical to the film's title, and the distance, 666, the biblical number of the beast. It was the kind of detail you'd expect in a horror script, not in real life. Explosions, bombs, and brushes with terror. The 1970s in Britain were scarred by IRA bombings, and even these seemed to intersect with The Omen. Gregory Peck canceled a reservation at a restaurant. Hours later, it was destroyed in an IRA attack. Producer Harvey Bernhard narrowly avoided a bombing at his hotel. Over and over, those linked to the film seemed to stumble into danger and walk away by luck or fate. The release. When The Omen finally premiered on June 6, 1976, June 6, 1976, a date many noted as chillingly symbolic, it was an instant success. Critics praised its atmosphere, audiences lined up around the block, and Damien Thorne became one of the most infamous children in cinema history. But while the movie terrified audiences with its story, Hollywood insiders were buzzing about the stories behind it. The lightning strikes, the deadly plane crash, the violent animal attacks, the car accident echoing the movie's own special effects, and that haunting road sign pointing to 66.6 kilometers. Suddenly, The Omen wasn't just a movie. It was a mystery in its own right. Skeptics and believers. Skeptics argue that everything can be explained. Planes get struck by lightning. Air travel accidents happen. Zoos are dangerous places, and wild animals can't be trusted. Car crashes claim lives every day. Viewed separately, each event might be ordinary, but it is the pattern, the sheer number of incidents linked to one single film, that continues to raise eyebrows. Why this movie? Why these people? Why did so many tragedies align so perfectly with the dark, supernatural themes of the story being told? Believers say that in trying to dramatize the Antichrist, the filmmakers invited a darkness that left its mark on reality, the legacy of the curse. Decades later, The Omen is still a reference point whenever cursed films are discussed. Alongside The Exorcist, Poltergeist, The Crow, and Twilight Zone, the movie, it stands as one of Hollywood's most infamous productions. Documentaries return to it. YouTube channels dissect it. Fans debate whether it was truly cursed or whether the stories have been exaggerated over time. Yet one thing is undeniable. The legend refuses to die. Even now, people can't watch The Omen without thinking about those lightning strikes, those freak accidents, and that chilling road sign in the Netherlands. It is impossible to separate the story of Damien Thorne from the real-world tragedies that accompanied him. Final thoughts. So, was The Omen cursed? Or was it merely a string of terrible coincidences woven together by human imagination? Perhaps it doesn't matter. What matters is that the legend endures. The tragedies of its cast and crew are now inseparable from the movie itself, making it impossible to watch without a lingering sense of unease. Maybe the curse wasn't about death or lightning or animals at all. Maybe the curse is the story, that once you hear it, you can never forget it. The line between fiction and reality is blurred forever, and Damien's shadow lingers far beyond the final frame. Comment, like, and subscribe for more haunted Hollywood stories and unsolved mysteries.